Welcome, everybody. I'm Ann Dunsmore. I'm the manager of the Recall Gavin 2020 campaign. But our campaign is much bigger than any one of us, and I am beyond proud every day to be involved with this organization and to be working with all of you. And I think everybody who's working on this is a leader. I'm going to go ahead and take a little liberty here by sharing with all of you something I was reflecting on earlier today. Somebody said, how do you feel about doing this? I said, I think I'm the Angela Davis of the Republican Party. But more than that, I was reminded that some of the biggest revolutions have been led by women. And with all due respect to the men, and I think the men are honor our participation and our passion, no matter the trouble and heartburn it may cause. But I want to just give a shout out to all the daughters of the Recall Revolution. I hope you're, do this, please. Do this right now. I want to hear it. Pat yourself on the back. You're amazing to me. I love all of you. It's, and I got to say, when there's, you know, our little, for those of you who are new to the call, our call to arms is sort of recall strong. But I want to start out by saying women strong, recall strong, California strong. So for all of you who might be out there in heat this weekend that's going to be unbearable, recall strong, women strong, California strong. We would not be here without you today. Without the support you've had, we would not be here today where we are. I'm getting a lot of traction just in the last week. I've really been able to make a very strong point with some of, I want to say, the reticent members of the establishment activists who have been sitting on the sidelines and watching us and wondering what the heck we're doing. So I'm going to tell you very quickly, give you an update, as always, very transparent and as honest as I can be without being too aggressive. But it's very difficult. The more active and more successful we are, the more signatures are gathered in the field and the more care you are all giving to auditing those signatures before you send them in. You're doing an amazing job. I just want you to know I'm in the trenches with you. There isn't a day that goes by when I'm not sitting there doing what you're doing, which is sitting there going through petitions. I'm sick of pink ink. I just want everybody to know pink is my favorite color, but when I see it on a petition, I get a little bit of a rash. Not signing declarations. We're sending out probably 2,000, 2,500 to 5,000 letters a day to non-compliant signatories, and we're getting a huge response back to those. So I just want you to know that everything you're doing, putting those names in the on the shared sheet is working great, because we're getting those letters out that day. And I want to thank all the ladies that are coming into the office and volunteering their time, people out of work who are using their time now to volunteer on this effort. So a big shout out. Big shout out to the folks that are driving in from Riverside and San Bernardino to turn in their signatures as soon as possible. My office is open, as everybody knows, to just sitting down with a calculator and getting it done using my staff. I want a big shout out to my staff too. We're like a family, and that's going to be what it's going to take to get this done. So where are we? Hard to tell, except we are probably 100,000 better than we spoke last week. I do want to let everybody know that the paid signature gatherers that have been hired by other people, not by us, for various and sundry initiatives are actually giving us those petitions. So I know it's difficult. The heat's not going to make it any better, but you know, just it's gonna take more than just a village on this one. It's going to take all of us in the state, and that's what we're doing. So I would say, depending on what's turned into us by the paid signature gatherers for other campaigns, we do not have paid signature gatherers. We got another about 100,000 petitions out in 100,000 signatures out in the field I would guess somewhere between, Orrin, probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing we're somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 plus thousands.
And Ann and I have been talking with the leadership of the paid circulator groups, the contractors, and they are telling us what is out in the field, and we're actively trying to get those back, bring the chickens home to roost, so to speak. And if I could just pause for a second, our technical team is trying to get this rebroadcast on Facebook Live in our homepage public forum right now. I just want to speak out to them real quick. Dan, if you could get that put up, that'd be great. People are asking about it online right now. I'm just seeing the feeds coming up. They're asking where it is. What are we doing?
I think, let me check. I think it's on.
I also think we're being recorded, so I'm hoping that version.
We are being recorded here. Hold on.
Version will get posted. You know, what I will do is go into the chat and I will, you know, repeat as much as possible, especially the part where I think everybody on this team is bar none the best and historically the best volunteer force that's ever been put together for a petition campaign anywhere in the United States. We've blown past that for sure. Whether or not it's Guinness material, I don't know. So one of the things, and I do want to thank Orrin and Mike, just ladies, just know I do beat the crap out of Orrin and Mike on a regular basis. And I want you to know that they do a great job putting up with it, and we move on and we're stronger for it. So I'm carrying your water, girls, so just don't worry about it. So I am really honored because this is one of those historic moments that hopefully will be echoed forever, is when two political parties can actually come together and do what's best for the state that we live in, our children, our communities, our families, and now we know. I could not be prouder than to be hosting a call where I get to introduce the chairwoman, Madam Chairwoman of the Libertarian Party, and I think the most important thing here is, you know, good people can disagree. And, you know, all jokes aside, I've been, you know, married 3 times. Needless to say, didn't agree with my husbands all the time. But we are friends. I think all 3 of them are Democrats. I'm not sure. I haven't checked lately. But with that, Mimi and I were speaking earlier. And even Libertarians disagree with each other. I think we can all agree that Republicans disagree with each other. I've certainly seen Democrats disagree with each other. But this is now officially a nonpartisan effort. And I want to congratulate you, Mimi, and you, Brent, Vice Chair of the Libertarian Party here in California, and Mimi's the chairwoman, for taking that bold step to join with us. We're not politically aligned. Of course, I'm well known as a Republican operative, but for the most part, these are people who care about the state, and that's our party. Our party is California. So with that, I actually would like to ask Dr. Brent Olson, who's known me, works and knows Mimi well, to say things about Mimi that Mimi would never say about herself. And
goodness.
To, you know, the new members of our family here, the Recall Strong, Recall Gavin Newsom 2020. So Brent, all to you. Thank you for being here so very much from my heart.
Thank you. And thank you for having us. Let's see. Tell you about some of the things about Mimi that she might not say. Well, she's probably one of the hardest working women that I know. One of the hardest working people that I know. She's very dedicated to the cause of liberty. She is very dedicated to the Libertarian Party and the success of the Libertarian Party. And she's helped make the Libertarian Party the fastest growing political party in the state of California. And along with that, we've been able to take a strong position on a lot of the things that concern Californians, including this recall petition. And so Mimi's been working very hard with the activists in the party who are out there gathering signatures and supporting this cause, which I also support. And I think this is a great opportunity for us to work together, the Republicans, Libertarians, and anybody else for the betterment of the state of California and to get rid of the socialists. So thank you very much.
Yeah, again, very proud to have you both on board, and I, again, truly the mark of a nonpartisan effort, and I'm really proud of that. I will be telling my grandchildren that for a very long time to come, and hopefully their children. Just as an aside, in the chat room, it was just remarked that there are a load of Democrat signatures being dropped off at the Monterey Republican headquarters. That's kind of what we're talking about here. So Mimi, I'm going to just go to you now, and thank you again for being here tonight.
Oh, well, thank you for having us. I really appreciate it. And thanks, Brent. I'll pay you later for that. So yeah, the Libertarian Party, I think, well, first I'm going to just say a little bit about the Libertarian Party for those that are watching that don't know as much about us, right? We are the third largest party in the country. And we are the only of 3 parties that have our candidates on the ballot in every single ballot in the United States. We are on the ballot in every state plus DC and Guam. And that's for our candidates as well as our presidential candidates. So I'm really proud of that. And I think that we are growing. We're the fastest, like Brent said, we're the fastest growing party in California right now. We've had a huge increase in our registered voters as well as our membership in the party. We do things differently than the other parties where we have members and then we have registered voters. So we do things slightly different, but we have a huge growth. And I think that that's because, you know, a lot of people are not happy with what's going on in California. I mean, and I think that that's all the people of California. And, you know, when you said it's, you know, the Republicans and the Libertarians, I would say it's the Republicans, the Libertarians, the Democrats, the Peace and Freedom, the American Independent. I think everybody in California, like you said, Ann, is one big party, and we care about our state. And so I think that that's why, you know, we were very anxious to get on board with this. We last year, the Libertarian Party of California, signed on to the Aaron Cruz recall effort, and we were very active in that. As a matter of fact, Aaron Cruz spoke at our convention. And she's obviously a Libertarian or a Republican. She's not a Libertarian. This time at our June 13th meeting, we had already decided to support this recall, which I believe was only 3 or so days after it was approved for circulation. 3, okay. So we've been on board since the very beginning. And we may not all agree on the reasons why we want to recall Newsom, right? I mean, the Libertarians may have different reasons than the Republicans that have different reasons than the Democrats. But like you said, we need to work together and we need to find where we agree, right? So I feel it's important that we all kind of learn to work well and play well with others. I think that we have enough common ground that we can work together, all of the different parties, on things we agree with. So, you know, we have people in all of our counties. We have very active members. I know one of them is in the audience tonight, Don Brocious, who's been huge in getting signatures. Elizabeth Stump, John Ferrero in Northern. I mean, these people are going out. I mean, as a matter of fact, I think some of them right now are at a letter stuffing event for the recall up in Northern California. So, you know, I think that it's something where we can work together. And I think that we can, you know, agree that what's happening in the state right now is just unacceptable. You know, last year when we signed on, it was for things like, you know, the PG&E issues with the fires, the possible increase in gas tax and car tax, basically the same reasons that the rolling blackouts, the reasons why Gray Davis was recalled. And then since then, it's gotten even worse with COVID-19, where the governor has basically taken a unilateral approach with his emergency declarations to be himself the governor of the government of California by himself. So I don't know how long you want me to drone on. I have lots of bullet points, but you know, I can, Brent can tell you I can talk forever. So sometimes
Mimi,
you just have to shut me up.
If I can chime in, I just want to give a shout out to John Ferrero and John Brocious, you know, the boots on the ground with the Libertarian Party. You guys have been phenomenal in the Bay Area. You've been out there gathering signatures since day one, and you guys have been really, you know, part and parcel with this recall effort. And thank you so much for what you're doing, and God bless you for everything that you've helped with. Mimi, I really appreciate having you on, you know, at such late notice. Thank you so much again. And drone on, I mean, you have some time. You know, this is a unifying moment in California. This is when, you know, there has not been another movement in our state's history that has galvanized people so much across the party lines. This is a bridge that has united Californians. It's united Americans within our state to come together to get this done. And this is what's so important about the recallgavin2020.com movement and the team that's involved with this. Folks, we have 75 volunteer groups throughout the state. There's 139 administrators that are overseeing operations throughout our state. There's 17 regional managers that back this group. There's an incredible structure that's supporting this recall to get it done. And beyond that, the executive team and her team, we have the recall team, my own executives that are working behind the scenes to get things done. We have a legal team who are working on stuff right now that isn't public knowledge, but it will be soon. This is absolutely attainable. We are working towards this goal. We have to keep the ball moving towards the goal line and keep pushing it forward. And this is where we all come together to get it done. We literally have lifelong Democrats, liberals who voted for Gavin Newsom, who are working with us feverishly to reverse that in the field, gathering signatures. Lifelong Democrats out in the field gathering signatures to reverse their decision to vote for Gavin Newsom for good cause. And Mimi, thank you so much for coming on board today. You know, the Libertarian Party is, you know, give us a little rundown of what you guys are about, where you stand for, your website, if you can, you know, where people can join up if they're interested in participating in your party.
Absolutely. So the Libertarian Party is basically, you know, I know it's our tagline, the party of principle. I believe we are. I believe that we are the most principled party, of course. I do, and that's why I've been a libertarian for decades. I believe in what we stand for, which is basically, it's very simple. You know, a lot of people try to say that we align with one or the other of the two parties. I don't believe that we do, except for we have similarities with both. And people try to paint us as being in the center, which we're not. We are far more left and far more right than right, because we're for individual liberty and freedom all the time. Our main principle is don't hurt me, don't take my stuff. I won't hurt you, I won't take your stuff. We don't believe the government should be involved in force and coercion with a gun to our heads. We believe that we can work better with voluntary cooperation. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. To find out more, you can go to ca.lp.org. We have all of our positions, we have our platform, we have a lot of information, we have a lot of good candidates running. We have, you know, we're working hard to, this is another tagline for our party. We're looking for a world set free in our lifetime. That's what we're looking for. And that's freedom from government coercion telling us what we can do with our lives, with our money, with all of these things. And I noticed that in the video that you played at the beginning, the person there was wearing a taxation is theft t-shirt. That is something we believe in. We believe taxation is theft, especially when it's used in coercive ways against us. So I would suggest anybody that's interested, go to ca.lp.org, go to lp.org, which is our national party website. The National Party, like I said, is the third largest party in the country. They have affiliates in all of the states plus DC. And we have a lot of people and we're growing. So if you're interested, I kind of put it in a nutshell as to, I've got a call coming in, I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
You know,
if you want to take that, we can toss
oh
it
no,
off.
I already declined it.
Okay.
It's just, it was vibrating and it was bothering me. So I'm turning off my phone now.
Maybe it was Gavin Newsom.
You never know. It was a number I didn't recognize, so it might have been. But, you know, about Gavin Newsom, I mean, you know, I personally can't say he's the world's worst governor that I've seen in my lifetime.
I can.
Others
I'm
can.
going to refute that. We're going to argue right now. I'm going to throw down.
I think they're all bad, right? I do. So, but what I can say is that what he's especially done is he's been divisive. He's used the Emergency Services Act to basically centralize the state's powers in the hands of the governor. And he said that himself. I mean, that's something he said. He's issued emergency declaration after emergency declaration since March, I believe March 4th. He keeps changing the bar on this. And I'm talking about COVID primarily because that's where we're all at right now, right? And probably I'm going to guess that your petition gathering was affected by the shutdowns, as was one other thing about the Libertarian Party that I should say is that we aren't one of the two major parties. So to get our presidential candidate, and I'm not going to talk about her, I'm just going to say, to get her on the ballot, unlike the two major parties, we have to go out and petition gather. So we ended up having states that had such ridiculous petition requirements that they could not do. We had to seek legislative relief to not have to do that, to have our candidate on the ballot. All of these things have been disenfranchising voters and disenfranchising the people of the state and the country having these shutdown orders. So, you know, that's a big one, because the governor shouldn't be unilaterally making a one-size-fits-all approach to a pandemic by shutting down the entire state, not letting local municipalities and counties deal with their own people. They know them best. They know how to do it. Also just saying, you know what, we're going to decide who's essential and who's not essential. We're going to decide what is important. And that isn't the same for everybody. So, so I think that this is, you know, this is the reason why I think we can all come together and say, what's happening in the state is not okay. What's happening in Sacramento is not okay. And what's happening with this governor is not okay. And the Libertarian Party believes that we need to hold our electeds accountable. And one way to do that is this.
You are absolutely correct in saying so. And I think that this is a unifying force across all party lines as we go forward. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Thank you.
Let me also just, what we do want to do is take questions, but we also, I think Mike Netter wants to say something, who's also one of our chief proponents. And then we do have a bunch of questions, and I believe we have another panelist, but I do not see them in the room, which is Erica. So Oren, while Mike speaks, perhaps you might be able to
Will do. I'll try and get her on.
see if she's sort of maybe not in the panelist room. So Mike Netter, you had a comment you wanted to make, and then I think we're going to go straight to questions until I see Erica online.
I'm just delighted every week, and Ann, what you said up front about not only, I do appreciate the women and the men working together, but I find it so fascinating. This is one of the few forums where we get Republicans, Libertarians, even Democrats coming on. And I kind of do agree with Orrin. I think Gavin is pretty much up there, if not number one, in the worst governors ever. But I look at him as doing us kind of a favor, because the favor that he's doing, he's really bringing a lot of these groups in California together. And for everybody out there doing this tireless effort each week, again, I want to thank you as one of the main proponents. And it's really fantastic, the mix of people that we get every week and each week, and the mix of people that we see out in the field, spreading the word that we need to unite to take California back. And Ann, I always find that really important to say, because I continue to find that amazing every single week.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Let me do this while we're waiting for Erica. I'm going to just answer a handful of these questions really fast. What time will the official top funders sheet for the month of October be posted? I don't know, but just for everybody, it won't change. And that's a very quick answer to that question. See. I did answer this question early on, but I think we said we were going to start at 6:45, and I think we start a little earlier. We do have over 600,000 signatures. We have quite a few in the field that we're confirming, and those are 5- and 6-figure numbers that we're waiting to confirm. How does this recall compare to past efforts? When we get to the total signatures needed, we will be the largest signature gathering effort in U.S. history. So I hope that answers that question. We are going to be filing for a 90-day extension only because 2 other petition gathering efforts were granted a 90-day extension. I don't believe we actually need it, but it never hurts to have it. Let's see, another question we have is, let's see, if you, we do not, let's see, I think I've answered these questions. These are mostly comments, not questions. And is there anything, does anybody have any? Go ahead and raise your hand. Yes, I did just say 600,000. And when I say in hand, I'm talking about what we think we're verifying in the field from the regionals, plus what is actually in the third-party validator's office. Getting a message. So we're about that many. So let me just check. We're getting some more questions. I'm sorry if this is dragging on. What process is used to evaluate the petitions that come in? So what they do is they double check it against the registration list to make sure that all the signatories are registered to vote, that the circulator is registered to vote and a resident of California, obviously. They also make sure that none of the other rules are violated on the petitions, that there are no duplicates, that if somebody signed it, that they didn't sign it before. So we are weeding out the duplicates. There was another question about, well, somebody signed it in January. That wasn't our petition. Our petition didn't go out until mid-June. Okay, let's see. That's an interesting one. I'm sorry, my computer, now you're all asking questions. How are we doing on donations? We're doing okay. We have a number of people who are sitting up and taking notice of us at this point. And we should be knowing about some more money, some major money probably within the next few days. But we're able to do what we need to do with what we're getting online and through my phone calls, Orrin's phone calls, Mike Netter's phone calls, and a slew of other people out there that are working on it, like Tom Del Beccaro, our former chairman. You know, so it's good. We can survive. We just sent out another 100,000 letters to multiple Republican households, asking people, you know, with a petition and a request for funds, and we're doing pretty well on those. Those are 90 to 95% valid. I don't think you can be a circulator and register to vote out of state. I think you have to be a circulator. Circulators have to be here. How do we know Alex Padilla isn't going to take our petitions and throw them out because this is a second recall? Well, Alex Padilla isn't getting the petitions. The county registrars are. And we will be turning these in, and a lot of our signatures, as everybody knows, we're going to be doing a massive turn in October 15th. I think we're going to try and do press in at least 10 of those counties. There's another question in here. Where is this that the kids are getting paid $5? If kids are getting paid $5, and it's on other petitions, not ours, but what they are doing is using our petition as bait, because our petition is 10 times more inspiring than some of the other ones out there. And so they have recall Gavin Newsom signs. They get them to come to their table, they sign that petition, and then they sign the other petitions that are there that they are getting paid on. And that's fine. We don't have to pay for the signatures, then they are giving them to us. What will happen in Newsom after we get the proper number of signatures? There will be a special election. Only 2 things can be on that ballot. That is a thumbs up or thumbs down on the recall, and then hopefully a list of candidates. And if nobody breaks better than 50%, then there's going to be a runoff 30 days later. Hopefully this will happen with the election in February and the runoff in March, and we have a new governor by March. As far as yard signs, I'm going to answer these as fast as I can. As far as yard signs are concerned, there isn't enough money in the world that's going to get us yard signs for everybody's yards. So what we are saying is that the yard signs are really just for the pop-up, you know, the tables where we're trying to get signatures. So that seems to be it. Well, sorry I came in late. I think I've gotten a majority of these. Have any petitions been collected from paid petitioners yet? Yes, what percentage is good? Don't know yet. When we get those things in, we get them into my office actually first. And in some cases, they go up to Paul's office, Paul Olson and GoCo, which is our third-party validator. We cross them off right away in my office and send the signator a letter saying, can you sign again? Or we send you know, sometimes they're not signed, their circulator isn't signed, so we just we just literally send all the signatories a letter asking them to re-sign a petition for that reason.
What was her name? Michelle?
And I'm going to jump in on the yard sign question
Yes, sir.
as I mute Oren. I think one of the questions I saw was that somebody on Nextdoor that you saw in one of your areas is paying somebody to remove yard signs. Nextdoor is a local issue. We know absolutely nothing about that. It's generally a local fee. But if you see that, that's obviously not right for someone to do, and leave that within your community.
Yeah, it's against the law to remove campaign
Correct.
materials that are posted. Another question is, do we have a person in mind to replace Gavin Newsom? Listen, this campaign is not allowed to be a candidate advocacy group. We are a petition drive. We are not here to advocate, and it would be slightly against the law for us to do that. So right now, our job and our job alone is to get this thing on a ballot, recall the governor. And by the way, another question in here is, can Gavin be one of the names on that list of candidates? No, he cannot. So I think the question also, once we get to our goal, what is the procedure to kick Newsom out? How does it? How fast? Get on the ballot. If we get 125% of the required votes, which is based on 12% of the last vote in California, which was a little over 12 million, we get 125% of those of that number, and well, 12% is what we have to come up with. We get 125% of what we're supposed to have, and it goes to a random process, which means that it happens very quickly. We can also get to 110% where they go in and do a random sample and count it. That's not as fast, but it's just as good. So that gives everybody an idea of where we're at. What we're trying to do is make sure that whatever we send up to GoCo is as airtight as possible before it even gets up there. And what can cause signatures to be thrown out is ink that's not black or blue, signing into the box to the far right that is strictly for government use. The circulators, the declaration at the bottom of the petition is not filled out completely. Completely. We are not allowed to go into that section and fill stuff out. So that's but a few. And then of course there's if you're not a registered voter or a resident of California, which would show up on the registration list, or if you're a duplicate and you had signed before. If we get when you say get another 90-day extension, we don't have a 90-day extension. We're asking for one, and that's the only one we would be granted. Will this prevent us from filing if we get the numbers sooner? Absolutely not. We can file whenever we want. If I got all the signatures tomorrow, we could file. And the 90 days just gives us an extension. We don't necessarily have to use it, and I, for one, wouldn't want to. I want to get this guy out of here as fast as possible. I think that's what we've all been working for, and that's what I think we're going to accomplish. How is Sacramento County doing with signatures? Are we getting closer to the quota? I think everybody's doing really well. The big counties are doing well, and your numbers have been boosted by the direct mail that we've been doing. I think LA County, obviously the largest county, is going to have the most in, so they're up by about 10,000. But again, the county tallies are really, really hard, you guys, to stay on top of because they're just changing by the minute. And GoCo is not giving us the total counts, every day. So we're kind of hoofing it on that one, but we're doing pretty good. A lot of people are getting close to their 12% goal, but I want to tell you, you need to go beyond that. Is there any report or video about the Sacramento rally 2 weeks ago? How did it go? How many showed up? How much food was given to them? I don't know. Oren, do you want to take that question?
Oh, absolutely. And thank you. I really appreciate that. Mike was up there as well. And we took literally a truckload of food. We posted the pictures on our websites and broadcasted around, and that food is going to be distributed. It's not just food. It was diapers and baby wipes and things like that people had brought in and donated for the cause for people that have been displaced either by the fires or by these shutdowns and so forth. And I'd like to just take this opportunity and welcome Maria to our panelist group. Maria is a surprise guest. We always have an alternative or a backup as we go forward. And I just want to introduce her. She is a displaced salon worker. She's a skincare worker, and she has a story of her own. And it goes back to the beginning of the call when, Ann, you were talking about women uniting and coming together. And Maria, thank you for joining the call.
Oh, thank you so much. This is very, I'm so sorry it's not a little more organized, but I so appreciate you guys inviting me, and just, I guess this is God's hand just to make this happen so quickly. So my phone might be dying. I hope I don't get cut off. You guys let me know what questions you have or how you want me to do this.
Well, so Maria, you and I shared a conversation a little while ago, and we talked about your specific situation regarding the salon shutdowns and the opening of certain, hair facilities versus other hair facilities, the fairness, the unfairness. We'll give you 5 minutes just to give a quick rundown on how that affects you specifically, how that affects your industry as a whole.
Okay, so we're going on 8 months, so I'll try to do this in less than 8 seconds. So the first second was March 14th. I really thought, hey, it's just a contagious flu. Kept working. I had one very staunch Democrat freaking out on me as a client saying, you better shut down, blah, blah, blah. Put fear in me, started researching it. And I did decide at that point, it was just not enough information out there. I wanted to shut down on the 15th. Fast forward, absolutely not one availability to go back to work because of Gavin Newsom's shutdown orders. So I had to pivot so quickly, and I had a past, with a larger salon that we'd worked locally to kind of get everybody together. So I quickly called my printer. I called all these wineries. I called LA. I called all these places, said, hey, we got to do online spa parties. Let's do this. Spend all the money, not even thinking budgeting wise as a business owner, just trying to survive. And that worked for about maybe a month or two. And then people started realizing, oh my goodness, this is really like going to be shut down. Like they're not going to let us go back to work. So then I think everything set in, depression. We're looking at month 4 then. Still, I used to call every single morning to our county in Santa Barbara, and they were pretty nice at that point, saying, I'm so sorry, we're trying to flatten the curve. And that was the whole reasoning we were doing that. In the meantime, my income literally fell from, I was booked a year in advance. All my clients are regulars. I don't even have to market. I've been in business for 15 years. Before that, probably 5 years just trying to build up, which any small business owner on the call knows that you just make $0 until you really get successful, which I was grateful and blessed to be. So I feel like Gavin Newsom has literally stolen my business. Fast forward again, now July 1st, we had a vacation plan for our, my 50th birthday and our anniversary, and we'd been planning it for 5 years. Everything had to be canceled because, of course, Gavin Newsom opened us on July 1st. So I thought, well, maybe that's a sign from God. I just dropped everything, went back to work, entered everything back, cleaned for literally 2 days. My whole family came and helped. I have lung cancer problems, so this cleaning thing has even made my life worse. But that only lasted for 1 week because then he decided to close us down again. Then I sent a letter, very angry letter, about 5 phone calls in literally 24 hours. And I still think it's odd, but 2 days later, he says, oh, I'm so sorry, and sends out this thing saying, well, now estheticians can open if they go outside. So again, pivot again. Wait, what? Outside? State board doesn't even allow us to be outside. They don't even allow us to be in an RV unless you have a special license. And everything didn't match what the whole thing. So I started doing some research when I'm doing this follow-up letter going, wait a minute, you guys aren't even matching what we've been told I've been in this business for 25 years. It doesn't make any sense. And I get pretty much during that research finding out that Gavin Newsom made himself the executive director of the Board of Cosmetology, which was very odd. I took a picture of it on my phone. I started telling everyone, I think we talked maybe 2 or 3 months later. Today, I got the email from you guys, and I went in there and I was thinking, you know what, maybe I'm going to call him back and see if we're going to do the speaker thing. And all of a sudden now it's changed. And it even has the date when it was changed, which is kind of ironic. So now he is not the executive director of board, which I actually filed a complaint on the actual State Board of Cosmetology license saying that you really shouldn't be the executive director. You have, and there's all these statements of how you can file a complaint. So I just filed it little by little, just the way that they would normally do it with an esthetician or hairdresser. Then we were outside for 3 months. And then yesterday, and I maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I think it's a little odd that yesterday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I get an email from the State Board of Cosmetology saying, oh, Gavin Newsom just decided you can go back to work tomorrow starting at 8 a.m. This is today. I find it a little odd that typically all the other dates that we were told about were always on Thursdays or Fridays right before the weekend, which in our industry is typically one of our busiest weeks. And there's a lot you have to do to prepare with cleaning and just rescheduling clients. And I'm not even talking about the 3 months of this heat, the smoke, and all that's going on in our area, having to be outside. I had to cancel numerous clients. I couldn't make money the whole time. So as of today, and the part that's ironic to me is that the debates were last night. So again, maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but every business owner I know freaked out yesterday, had to run to work, start managing everything. We worked till 3 in the morning last night so that we could open up. Then we work all day, and then it's 108 degrees here where I live. So we had to cancel a bunch of stuff. So pretty much today was like my final breakdown. I think I literally lost my go. I was so upset that I just told my husband, I don't even know if it's worth it anymore. I'm at 8 months. There's no way I'm going to recap, even if I was at full capacity again by January, to make up for this year. So I'm going to either tomorrow just take the day off. I've got full capacity on Friday, Saturday, and next Monday, I'm going to try to figure out how to pivot once again. But in the 16 pages that I printed out to read of all, how are we even supposed to do this inside again? Because are we supposed to wear all the gear that we have to wear? I mean, I could send you photos. You guys would not believe we had to spend $1,500 just to open up outside. And I, never applied for unemployment originally because I assumed this was like a fluke thing. It'll be 3 months. Well, then finally applying for unemployment, I was approved for the amount I make an hour. So my husband said, you know what, just keep it as an emergency and just write in every week how much money you're making. And so every week they just tell you, sorry, nothing, you make too much money. So I feel sorry for these people and then there's this other group in my industry that says, this is why you're stupid. You should have just given up and not worked and taken the unemployment. So I think this is a socialist, in my opinion, a socialist pivot to get as many people in my industry, which is mostly run with minorities, into the government fold of being dependent. And I just refuse. I refuse to take that step forward. I mean, you don't work your whole life to have a business and then just have the government just literally snatch it away in a matter of 8 months. And to me, it's just gotten me so fired up and so angry that I've sent this to even my clients, which I know in Business 101, you never speak politics or religion. But
so Maria,
it's over.
Maria, you're a skincare specialist, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Which the COVID has destroyed.
So, and I know you and I talked, but was there a disparage between the hair salons opening up?
Yes.
And the skincare salons opening up? And was there something surrounding when Nancy Pelosi went in for her hairdo, and were they allowed to open up shortly after that? But you guys were still kept closed, right? Is that correct?
Well, and I'm trying to remember back. I think there was multiple things that happened because originally we were all under state board cosmetology, which includes everything but massage. So I think that's what I was trying to explain to you is a little odd. So it's like the leaders don't even know who's under their jurisdiction, because typically the State Board of Cosmetology oversees estheticians, nail salons, hair salons, and barbers. They do not oversee massage. They do not oversee electrolysis and tattooing, if I remember that correctly. However, those people are getting even more destroyed than estheticians. Now, estheticians have to take, just if you understand the training, infectious disease. I mean, we are taught how to deal, because we're dealing with pus, blood, all kinds of things when you're extracting. Little by little, hair designers do not, and I have total respect for them because they have to deal with other nail people, have to deal probably even more infectious disease than hair. But at the same time, all of a sudden, odd things started happening. I guess Gavin Newsom, and I didn't see this live, but I did hear through the grapevine and I saw that this class action suit that's happening, is that he blamed nail salons originally for bringing COVID to the California side versus Europe from the New York side, East Coast side.
All right. Wow.
So that originally sparked a class action suit with the nail department, or the nail group. All of a sudden, he separates nails and hair from skincare. So then we're in now phase 3, but they were in phase 2. So it sounds like if you do a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit against Gavin Newsom, he starts to all of a sudden change his view. So then he lets them open hair. Well,
I think that we've seen that across the board where people have pressured him and he shut down. Maria, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for listening.
It was divine intervention. Thank you for calling in.
I know, and I
really
love what you guys
appreciate
are doing. Let me know how I can help. I just appreciate it. I'm sorry it's rough.
That's fine. That's fine. That's what this is all about. This is
all right.
This is boots on the ground. This is real time, folks. You're amazing.
Maria.
Thank you.
Maria, get all the cosmetologists and nail salon owners and hair salon owners to contact the board of your association and tell them we would very much like their support, and for them to contact all 600,000 plus members of the association and
The
let
problem is you'll never get that because he is their boss. So, but I will tell you, the people that are supporting it are the consumers. They
Yeah.
are
Well,
mad.
then
They can't get
then
what
call their attorney, Fred Anderson in Auburn, and let him know how you feel.
there you go,
Yeah,
Oren.
send me. All right, take care.
No, thank you.
Bye.
And then just a couple more questions, Oren, which I do want to focus on. Everybody, the 12% is really a self-imposed goal that we have for each of the counties. It's not something we're required by law to do, so I don't want there to be any confusion about that. Yeah, if Orange County has 20%, it's all going to count towards the 2 million signatures. So there is no point at which we can collect too many signatures from a county. Please don't get confused by the minutia at all. So that's it. What we can't do is collect all 2 million signatures from one county. So we have to show a little demographic there, but I think that's splitting hairs. I think that's it. Mike, do you have anything you'd like to finish with?
I just want to give a shout out to Tim Holliday. We had a question earlier that about Sacramento. Fox, not only did Fox News carry it, but the lead-in that Tim Holliday did such a great job filming of the entire crowd shouting, like literally 500 to 1,000 people recall Newsom at once, was the opening segment on One American News this week. So we did get press coverage, and thanks, Tim, for doing that film. Anything else anybody would like to add before we sign off for the night?
I just want to thank you again for having us, and I just want to throw one more time: ca.lp.org and lp.org.
In that case, I'm going to throw Recall Newsom again.
Coming aboard.
Thank you very much, everybody. Let's work together. We will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Recall strong, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget, you guys.